Welcome to Module 2, Getting Started with AI Tools. In Module 1, we explored the fundamentals of AI and its historical development. And in this module, we'll take a practical approach by examining some text-based AI assistants and learning how to communicate with them effectively through what's called prompt engineering. Let's start by understanding what we're actually communicating with. Text-based AI assistants like ChatGPT, Claude, and Copilot are built on large language models, or LLMs. Now, as we talked about in Module 1, these models don't retrieve facts from a database. They predict what word will come next based on patterns they've observed in human language. They generate output one word at a time based on the probabilities of what word typically follows in similar contexts. This is why tools can sometimes give incorrect information or hallucinate facts. And it's also why the same prompt can give different answers each time. AI assistants can respond to your request in many different ways, depending upon how you frame your message or your communication. They can answer factual questions, though there are some limitations based on their training data or what other resources they have access to. They can also summarize information, generate creative content, help with problem solving, analyze or compare concepts, and even role-play different perspectives. The way you structure your communication significantly influences the result. Now, for example, asking the AI to adopt a persona like you're a grumpy communication professor who specializes in the study of AI in education, that can help get you feedback on your work from a specific perspective. Role-based communication often yields more focused responses. Now let's dive into prompt engineering. This is the practice of crafting effective instructions for AI tools. Think of it as the art and science of communication design. Now, a prompt is essentially a structured input that guides an AI system's response. It's a lot like giving clear directions to a very intelligent but very literal-minded classmate. Prompt engineering has evolved from simple command-line instructions to sophisticated conversational interactions. Now, what makes this particularly relevant for you as students at UMW is that prompt engineering is fundamentally about effective communication. These are the same skills you're developing in your writing intensive, speaking intensive, and FSEM courses, and you can apply them directly to AI interactions. There are a lot of articles giving advice on effective prompting, including some tricks. Last year, someone found that some LLMs gave more extensive responses if they offered a tip. I'll give you 20 bucks if you give me a better answer. And there was recently one of the Google co-founders, Sergey Brin, he was interviewed, and he said that they found that their LLM sometimes responded better with better content if the model was threatened with bodily harm. Now, in each case, it wasn't really possible to give the LLM a tip or to actually hurt it. Remember, it's basing its response on its training. So it's likely that it found that when a tip was referenced, the person giving the tip received better service. And there were probably other stories about individuals working under duress, worried about how they were threatened. There are always going to be stories like this, but don't focus on the clickbait stories about shortcuts or weird tricks. Focus on clear and effective communication. The most effective prompts should include 5 key elements. First at the base is clarity and specificity. Your instructions should be unambiguous and precise. Secondly, context provision. Give the AI the background information that it needs to understand your request, what it is that you're looking for. Third, clear task definition. Specify exactly what it is that you want the AI to do. Fourth, format specification. Tell the AI what the output should look like, how you want it to be formatted. And fifth, elements always help. Show the AI what you're looking for through concrete examples. Sometimes you can even upload a document that shows how you'd like it to be formatted, how you'd like it to follow, and those examples work really well to be able to show the desired outcomes. Now, these elements together bridge the gap between human intent and AI understanding. Now, once you master the fundamentals, there are several advanced techniques that can dramatically improve your results. Role prompting involves assigning a specific persona to the AI. It's like asking it to respond as a communication professor, like the example I gave before, or saying, you are a marketing expert, help me with this marketing plan. There's also chain of thought prompting. What this does is it guides the AI through step-by-step instructions, and it helps them get through complex problems and to have the LLM present each result in that order in the output. Delimiters also work because they help you clearly separate different parts of the instructions. You use quotation marks, brackets, or other markers, and they make it easier to structure your prompts and segregate various parts of the instructions so you can say what you want to include and what you don't want to include. And then also iterative refinement. This means testing and improving your prompts based on the results you get, just like revising a paper or practicing a presentation. Now here's the key insight. You're not learning a completely new skill. Prompt engineering builds directly on the communication competencies you're already developing at UMW. Your writing intensive and speaking intensive courses teach you how to craft focused arguments with clear evidence. This becomes specificity and context in AI prompts. You also learn about organizational patterns and rhetorical strategies in your SI and WI courses. These become structured prompt design. You develop audience awareness and purpose-driven messaging. This translates to understanding what the AI systems need and defining clear tasks, such as providing context and saying exactly what the output should be. And your ability to reflect on and refine your communication choices becomes the iterative process of improving your prompts. Whether you're writing an essay, giving a presentation, or communicating with AI, the fundamental principles of effective communication remain the same. And it's important that you're developing those skills because you'll be able to better work with AI in the future because of it. Now let's see these principles in action with a concrete example. Here's a very weak prompt, starting with, "Tell me about climate change." It's really vague, it lacks context, doesn't specify what kind of information is needed or for what purpose. Now let's try that out in Copilot. If you look here and I put down, "Tell me about climate change," I get this response. And the response is okay, but it's not very specific or informative. Now here's the improved version. "You are an environmental science professor. Explain 3 major causes of climate change and their specific impacts on coastal communities. Write in clear language suitable for first-year college students, approximately 400 words, using specific examples from the past decade." Now notice how the improved prompt includes role specification, clear context, specific tasks, audience awareness, and format requirements, all elements of effective communication. And when we try this in Copilot, you see what we get, a more focused and informative response that more closely matches what we ask the LLM to provide. Now, an important caveat to this, it's not going to be able to follow it to the letter. Often when I ask it for a certain amount of words, it's off quite a bit because it's just generating text. It has guidelines, but it's not going to be able to be specific with that. But that does give it some general guidance about how you'd like it to develop the content, what you'd like it to be formatted as, and you can always revise it, which you should always do. Double check the content and revise it as necessary. Now, even with good intentions, there are common mistakes that can sabotage your prompts. Vague instructions leave too much room for interpretation. It's like saying write something good without defining what good means. Also, a lack of focus. This can force the AI to guess what you really need and for what purpose. Overcomplicated requests that try to do too many things at once can confuse even sophisticated AI systems. And ignoring AI limitations like knowledge cutoff dates or potential biases that we'll talk about in more detail in later modules, these can lead to poorer results. The key is finding the sweet spot between too little and too much information. Just as you evaluate writing and speaking for effectiveness, you need to assess your prompts systematically. Ask yourself, is the AI's response accurate and factually correct? Is it relevant to what you actually needed? Is the quality appropriate for your purpose and audience? Does it match the format and tone you specified? And finally, does it demonstrate that the AI understood your actual intent? If any answer to this is no, then that tells you exactly where you need to refine your communication approach. This is the same reflective process you use for any communication. And remember, you're not asking the AI to do all of the work and complete it. You're looking for it to be a tool that will help you develop content that you revise and think about critically before you use it for any other purpose. As AI technology evolves, so does the nature of human-AI communication. We're seeing the rise of multimodal prompting that combines texts, images, and even audio in single requests. Different AI platforms have their own strengths and optimal communication strategies. What works best for ChatGPT might be different for Claude. And there are important ethical considerations around bias, fairness, and responsible use that we're going to explore in more detail in upcoming modules. The key is staying adaptable and maintaining your critical thinking as these communication technologies continue to develop. Remember, prompt engineering is fundamentally a communication skill that builds on abilities you've already developed at UMW. Just like writing and speaking, it improves with practice, reflection, and iteration. You're not starting from scratch. You're extending your communication competencies into new domains. In this week's activities, you'll have opportunities to apply some of these principles through discussion boards, the practice exercise, and reflection. And as you develop the skills, you're preparing yourself not just to use the AI tools more effectively, but to communicate successfully in an increasingly AI integrated world. As I look forward to seeing what you're able to come up with in the Module 2 activities, and we'll get ready in Module 3 to start talking about some of the more advanced tools, including multimodal opportunities, as well as getting into some agentic AI.